Part 7. Life insurance, the product built on fear, love, and bad math. Hey, still here? Good, because this is where things get uncomfortable. Life insurance is one of the most emotionally manipulated financial products in the world. It's sold with fear of death, love for family, guilt, social pressure, and very bad financial logic. Most people buy life insurance for the right emotional reason, but choose the wrong financial structure. In Part 7, we're going to dismantle life insurance calmly, logically, and honestly, so you can see it for what it really is. A risk transfer contract, not an investment, not a savings plan, and definitely not a moral obligation product. Let's begin. 1. The only legitimate purpose of life insurance. Before we talk about types, prices, or strategies, we need to anchor one truth. Life insurance exists for one reason only: to replace lost income or financial value when your death creates a financial problem for someone else. That's it. If your death does not create a financial dependency gap, life insurance is optional, not mandatory. This single principle already eliminates 50% of unnecessary policies, 90% of emotional sales tactics. Life insurance is not about death. It's about dependency math. 2. The question nobody asks but should. Before buying life insurance, there is one question that matters more than all others. Who is financially worse off if I die tomorrow? Not emotionally, not spiritually, not symbolically, financially. If the answer is no one, you likely don't need life insurance. Someone, now we calculate. Most people skip this step and jump straight into product selection. That's how they lose money. 3. Why life insurance is oversold in developed countries. In countries like the US, Australia, and other advanced economies, life insurance is aggressively oversold. Why? Because it's commission-heavy, it's long-term, it's emotionally sticky. Cancellation feels like abandoning responsibility. Agents don't sell insurance. They sell relief from anxiety. But anxiety is not a financial metric. 4. The two worlds of life insurance. All life insurance products fall into two categories, no matter how fancy the names sound. Category 1. Term life insurance. Pure risk protection. Simple, cheap, temporary. Category 2. Permanent life insurance. Includes whole life, universal life, variable life, indexed life. These mix insurance with savings, investing, complexity, fees, guarantees that sound better than they are. Everything else is marketing. 5. Term life insurance, the boring, correct answer most of the time. Let's be clear. For most people, term life insurance is the mathematically correct solution. Why? Because it's cheap, it's transparent, it does one job well. It expires when dependency usually ends. You're not supposed to die with term insurance. You're supposed to outgrow the need for it. That's the point. If someone criticizes term insurance because you get nothing back, they don't understand insurance. You don't complain that your fire insurance didn't pay out because your house didn't burn. 6. The real math behind how much coverage do I need. Most people hear rules like tanks your income, enough to pay debts, enough to feel safe. Those are lazy shortcuts. Real calculation includes income replacement duration, inflation, existing assets, survivor earning potential, child care costs, education funding, debt structure. Life insurance is not a number. It's a model. If your policy amount is based on emotion instead of modeling, it's probably wrong. 7. The dirty secret of whole life insurance. Now we address the elephant in the room. Whole life insurance is sold as forced savings. tax-advantaged, guaranteed, a legacy tool. What it actually is: extremely expensive insurance, low-return investment, high-commission product, locked in for decades. Whole life is not a scam, but it is widely misused. It only makes sense in very narrow cases: ultra-high net worth, estate tax planning, specific legal structures. If you're middle class and sold whole life as an investment, you were sold a story, not a solution. 8. Why cash value is so misleading. The phrase cash value sounds comforting, but financially, it's deceptive. Cash value grows slowly at first, is reduced by fees, is not liquid like savings, is not market competitive, requires years to break even. People confuse account balance with economic value. Just because money exists inside a policy doesn't mean it's working efficiently. 9. Life insurance loans, clever or dangerous? Some policies allow borrowing against cash value. This is marketed as tax-free access, flexible liquidity, banking on yourself. Reality: loans reduce death benefit, interest still accrues. Poor management collapses policies. Complexity favors insurers, not policyholders. This is advanced finance. Most people are not using it correctly, and mistakes here are expensive. 10. The time horizon problem. Life insurance is deeply affected by time. Term insurance matches working years, matches dependency period, declines in necessity over time. Permanent insurance assumes lifelong need, locks decisions early, punishes change. Modern careers are fluid. Families change. Income paths evolve. Permanent products assume stability that most people do not have. 11. Why parents panic buy life insurance. Life insurance purchases spike after marriage, first child, buying a home. This is emotionally understandable, but panic leads to oversized policies, wrong product selection, long-term regret. Life insurance decisions should be slow, calculated, reviewed periodically. Urgency is a sales tool, not a financial requirement. 12. Employer life insurance, useful but incomplete. Many people rely on employer-provided life insurance. Problems: coverage is often small. It disappears if you change jobs. It's not customizable. It creates false security. Employer life insurance is a bonus, not a strategy. You cannot outsource dependency protection to HR. 13. Life insurance and debt, the overlooked connection. Debt changes life insurance needs dramatically. Mortgages, student loans, business loans all create post-death obligations, but not all debt needs insurance coverage. Key distinction: secured versus unsecured, forgiven versus transferable, insured versus uninsured debt. Covering all debt blindly wastes money. 14. Life insurance is not love. This needs to be said clearly. Buying expensive life insurance does not mean you love your family more. You're more responsible. You're a better provider. Good financial planning does. Emotion should trigger action. Logic should guide execution. 15. The ideal outcome of life insurance planning. The best case scenario is you buy term insurance, you invest separately, you grow assets, dependencies end, insurance expires unused. That's success. Insurance paying out means something went wrong, not that the plan worked. Life insurance is simple. People make it complicated. The industry profits from confusion. You benefit from clarity. In the next part, we're going to shift from death to disaster, disability insurance, the insurance you're statistically more likely to need than life insurance, and the one most people completely ignore. That's part 8. See you there.